Excerpt from Dr. Sachs by Jack Kerouac. The other night, I had a dream that I was sitting on the sidewalk on Moody Street, Pawtucketville, Lowell, Massachusetts, with a pencil and paper in my hand, saying to myself, describe the wrinkly tar of this sidewalk, also the iron pickets of Textile Institute, or the doorway where Lousy and you and GJ's always sitting, and don't stop to think of words when you do stop. Just stop to think of the picture better, and let your mind off yourself in this work. Just before that, I was coming down the hill between Gershom Avenue and that spectral street where Billy Artaud used to live, towards Blazen's corner store, where on Sundays the fellows stand in best suits after church smoking, spitting, Leo Martin saying to Sonny Alberge or Joe Plouffe, j'ai fait un grand saman cette fois-ci. Holy baptism! He made a long sermon this time. And Joe Plouffe, prognatic, short, glidingly powerful, spits into the large pebblestones of Gershom, paved, and walks on home for breakfast with no comment. He lived with his sisters and brothers and mother because the old man had thrown them all out. Let my bones melt in this rain. To live a hermit existence in the darkness of his night, roomy, red-eyed, old sick monster Scrooge of the block. Dr. Sachs I first saw in his earlier lineaments, in the early Catholic childhood of Centreville. Deaths, funerals, the shroud of that, the dark figure in the corner when you look at the dead man coffin, in the dolorous parlor of the open house with a horrible purple wreath on the door. Figures of coffin bearers emerging from a house on a rainy night, bearing a box with dead old Mr. Yipe inside. The statue of St. Therese, turning her head in an antique Catholic 20s film, with St. Therese dashing across town in a car with W.C. Fieldsey in close shaves by the young religious hero, while the doll, not St. Therese herself, but the lady hero symbolic thereof, heads for her saintliness with wide eyes of disbelief. We had a statue of St. Therese in my house, on West Street. I saw it turn its head at me, in the dark. Earlier, too, horrors of the Jesus Christ of Passion plays in his shrouds, and vestments of saddest doom. Mankind in the cross weep for thieves and poverty. He was at the foot of my bed, pushing it one dark Saturday night, on Hildreth and Lilly's second-floor flat, full of eternity outside. Either he or the Virgin Mary, stooped with phosphorescent profile and horror, pushing my bed. That same night, an elfin, more cheery ghost of some Santa Claus kind rushed up and slammed my door. There was no wind. My sister was taking a bath in the rosy bathroom of Saturday Night Home, and my mother scrubbing her back or tuning Wayne King on the old mahogany radio, or glancing at the top Maggie and Jig's funnies just come in from Wagon Boys outside, same who rushed among the downtown red bricks of my Chinese mystery. So I called out, "Who slammed my door? Qui ferme ma porte?" And they said, "Nobody. Passons voyons donc." And I knew I was haunted, but said nothing. Not long after that, I dreamed the horrible dream of the rattling red living room, newly painted a strange 1929 varnish red. And I saw it in the dream, all dancing and rattling like skeletons because my brother Gerard haunted them, and dreamed I woke up screaming by the phonograph machine in the adjoining room. With its master's voice curves in the brown wood memory and dream are intermixed in this mad universe. 2. In the dream of the wrinkly tar corner, I saw it, hauntingly, Riverside Street, as it ran across Moody and into the fabulously rich darknesses of Sarah Avenue and Rosemont, the mysterious Rosemont community built in the floodable river flats, and also on gentle slopes uprising that to the foot of the sandbank. The cemetery meadows and haunted ghost fields of Luxie Smith hermits, and mill ponds so mad. In the dream, I only fancied the first steps from that wrinkly tar right around the corner, views of Moody Street, Lowell, arrowing to the City Hall clock with time, and downtown red antennas and Chinese restaurant Kearney Square neons in the Massachusetts night. Then, a glance to the right at Riverside Street, running off to hide itself in the rich, respectaburban wild houses of fraternity presidents of textile, and old lady white hairs landladies. The street suddenly emerging from this Americana of lawns and screens and Emily Dickinson hidden school teachers behind lace blinds into the raw drama of the river, where the land, the New England rocky land of high bluffs, dipped to kiss the lip of Merrimack in his rushing soars over tumult and rock to the sea, fantastic and mysterious. From the snow north, goodbye. Walk to the left, past the holy door where GJ and Lousy and I hung, sitting in the mystery, which I now see hugens, huger, into something beyond my grook, beyond my art and pale, into the secret of what God has done with my time. Tenement standing on the wrinkly tar corner, 4 stories high, with a court, wash lines, clothespins, flies drumming in the sun. I dreamed I lived in that tenement. Cheap rent, good view, rich furniture, my mother glad, my father off playing cards, or maybe just dumbly sitting in a chair agreeing with us. The dream. And the last time I was in Massachusetts, I stood in the cold winter night, watching the social club, and actually seeing Leo Martin, breathing winter fogs cut in for after-supper game of pool, like when I was small. And also noticing the corner tenement because the poor Canucks, my people of my God, gave me life, were burning dull electric lights in a brown doom gloom of kitchen with Catholic calendar in the toilet door. Ah, me, a sight full of sorrow and labor. The scenes of my childhood. In the doorway, G.J. Gus J. Rigopoulos, and I, Jack Duluoz. Local sandlot sensation and big punk. And lousy Albert Lauzon, the human cave-in. He had a cave-in chest. The kid, Lousy, world's champion silent spitter, and also sometimes Paul Boldu, our pitcher and grim driver of later jalopy limousines of adolescent whim. Take note, well of them, take note, I'm saying to myself in the dream. When you pass the doorway, look very close at Gus Rigopoulos, Jack Duluoz, and Lousy. I see them now, on Riverside Street, in the high waving dark. 3. There are hundreds of people strolling in the street. In the dream. It's Saturday sun night. They're all rushing to the clothes sold downtown in real restaurants of reality. My mother and father, like shadows on a menu card, sitting by a shadow grill window with 1920s drapes hanging heavy behind them. All an ad saying, "Thank you, call again to dine and dance at Ron Foo's 467 Market Street, Rochester." They're eating at Chin Lee's. He's an old friend of the family's. He knew me, gave us lychee nut for Christmas. One time, a great Ming pot placed on dark piano of parlor glooms, and angels in dust veils and doves, the Catholicity of the swarming dust and my thoughts. It's Lowell. Outside the decorated chink windows in Kearney Square, teeming with life. "By gosh," says my father, patting his belly, "that was a good meal." Step softly, ghost. 4. Follow the great rivers on the maps of South America, origin of Dr. Sachs. Trace your Putumayos to a Napo further Amazonian junction. Map the incredible uncrossable jungles, the southern Paras of Amaze. Stare at the huge Grook of a continent bulging with an Arctic Antarctic. To me, the Merrimack River with a mighty Napo of continental importance, the continent of New England. She fed from some snake-like source with maws approach and wide. Welled from the hidden dank came, named Merrimack, into the winding weirs and Franklin Falls, the Winnows Pespalkies of Nordic pine and albatrosian grandeur, the Manchesters, Concords, Plum Islands of time, the thunderous husher of our sleep at night. I could hear it rise from the rocks in a groaning whoosh, ululating with the water. Sprawlsh, sprawlsh, oom, oom, zzz. All night long, the river says zzz. The stars are fixed in the rooftops like ink. Merrimack, dark name. Sported dark valleys. My Lowell had the great trees of antiquity in the rocky north waving over lost arrowheads and Indian scalps. The pebbles on the slate cliff beach are full of hidden beads and were stepped on barefoot by Indians. Merrimack comes swooping from a north of eternities, falls pissing over locks, cracks, and froths on rocks, bloth and rolls, froing to the kale, calmed in dew-pile stone holes, slaty sharp. We dove off, cut our feet, summer afternoon stinky hookies. Rocks full of ugly old suckers not fit to eat, and crap from sewage and dyes, and you swallowed mouthfuls of the chokeful water. By moonlight night, I see the mighty Merrimack foaming in 1,000 white horses upon the tragic plains below. Dream. Wooden sidewalk planks of Moody Street Bridge fall out. I hover on beams over rages of white horses in the roaring, low, moaning onward armies and cavalries of charging Euplantis, Eudronicus, king grays looped and curly like artist's work, and with clay soles, snow curly-Q rooster togas in the forefront. I had a terror of those waves, those rocks. 5. Dr. Sachs lived in the woods. He was no city shroud. I see him stalking with the incredible Jean Fauchette, woodsman of the dump, idiot, giggler, toothless, broken brown. Searched, sniggerer at fires, loyal, beloved companion of long childhood walks. The tragedy of Lowell and the Sachs snake is in the woods, the world around. In the fall, there were great sere brown side fields sloping down to the Merrimack, all rich with broken pines and browns. Fall. The whistle was just shrill to end the third quarter in the wintry November field, where crowds and me and father stood watching, scuffling uproars of semi-pro afternoons like in the days of old Indian Jim Thorpe. Boom. Touchdown. There were deer in the Billerica woods, maybe 1 or 2 in Dracut, 3 or 4 in Tingsboro, and a hunter's corner in the Lowell Sun sports page. Great, serried, cold pines of October morning, when schools restarted and the apples are in, stood naked in the northern gloom, waiting for denudement. In the winter, the Merrimack River flooded in its ice, except for a narrow strip in the middle where ice was fragile with crystals of current. The whole swing-around basin of Rosemont and the Aiken Street Bridge was laid flat for winter skating parties that could be observed from the bridge with a snow telescope in the gales, and along the Lakeview side dump minor figures of Netherlander snowscapes are marooning in the whirly world of pale white snow. A blue saw cracks down across the ice. Hockey games devour the fire where the girls are huddled. Billy Arto, with clenched teeth, is smashing the opponent's hockey stick with a kick of spiked shoes in the fiendish glare of winter fighting days. I'm going backwards in a circle at 40 miles an hour, trailing the puck till I lose it on a bounce, and the other Arto brothers are rushing up, pell-mell, in a clatter of dit-clappers to roar into the fray. This, the same raw river, poor river, March melts brings Dr. Sachs and the rainy nights of the castle.